Welcome to episode 2 of Goat Screw Incorporated. My name is Michael Fouché, and this is my blog where essentially on video I take my brain out and play with it. It's not all bad news, boys and girls. This past year of the COVID crazy, one nice thing about it, I'm 54 years old. I've spent the last 40 years being called a paranoid, right-wing, gun-toting nut job. After COVID crazy, nobody calls me paranoid anymore. You got to find the pony, boys and girls. You got to find the pony. We are now dealing with reality that information was withheld from the previous administration, that there were obvious political attacks that bypassed the realities of science and medicine. Medicine and science were not the first priority items in making decisions. As a result of that, information was kept from people who made those decisions, which means that they did not have the full array of facts available to them. We now know that even Journal of American Medical Association and other organizations have now accepted that the hydroxychloroquine in specific cases at specific stages of the development of the disease and things of that nature is an effective, at least, assistant. It's not a vaccine. It doesn't cure the disease. But I saw one particular study where I believe it was in Sweden. They had a 33% reduction in individuals who were diagnosed as infected and theoretically should have ended up in the ICU that didn't end up in the ICU. Didn't make them all better overnight. Did not solve all of their medical problems, but it kept them out of the ICU and kept a lot of them from dying. That's a valuable piece of information that really should not be subject to political viewpoint. It either happened or it didn't happen. It was a peer-reviewed study. It was published. I saw it myself, and so I'm confident that it is real. I'm not quoting crazy, third-party issue items from the internet, Facebook, Twitter, or anything like that. I'm actually going to these websites of known medical facilities, medical collections of medical reviews and journals and things of that nature. And again, that piece of information is something that should never have been subjected to political review. It is either a scientific fact or it's not a scientific fact. It doesn't get flavored by politics. As somebody that had COVID early on in January, back at the time when it was, not even, we weren't even able to determine that it was COVID at that point in time. We didn't have the testing. We didn't have the ability to look at antibodies, things of that nature. You kind of have to start wondering who else had it, how many more, and the interesting part of that is that I wasn't counted in the cohort of the 32 million plus that CDC is currently counting. Makes me wonder how many others weren't counted. And you have to understand that every one of us that wasn't counted but actually had the disease, we actually dropped the mortality rate and the damage done by the disease down. Remember when this all started, China was talking about 3.8% mortality rate. We're now sitting at, I believe, according to CDC's numbers, which I'm not telling you that CDC's numbers are completely accurate. What I'm telling you is their numbers are currently citing a 0.03 mortality rate, which is 3 times worse than the flu. It's a hot flu. A month ago, I couldn't have said that on Facebook without getting banned. That has now gotten to the point where Facebook has to recognize the reality that things that they have backed for a year were shaded by politics rather than science. That is actually moving the ball forward. That is actually going in the right direction, and that is a small victory. I understand that after a year and a half of this, 15 months to 18 months, depending on where you really started playing a role in this, it's very hard. It's very easy to, just keep seeing the losses and keep seeing the defeats and keep seeing the banning and the shadow banning and President Trump kicked off of social media and things of that nature, and to get depressed about it and have it, overwhelm you. Don't. You have to find the pony. And for those of you who don't understand what that is, it's an old joke about the government doing a study trying to figure out the definition of an optimist and a pessimist. They take two young men and 10, 12-year-old boys. They take one of them into a room. There's a room full of horse shit. And the boy looks at it and they hand him a shovel and they say, here, start shoveling the horse shit. They go in the other room. There's another pile of horse shit. They take the other boy and give him a shovel and tell him to start shoveling the horse shit. The scientists go out to the office. They've got cameras set up in the rooms and they're watching the boys. And the one boy is just, every single shovel full is a struggle. And oh my God, what am I doing? And he's bitching and he's moaning and he's griping and he's groaning. Every single thing, man. You're looking at the camera of the other boy, and man, he's just in there, just shoveling away. So finally, the test is over. They go back in and they start the interviews, and they ask the boy that was grumbling and groaning, blah blah blah, and he says, "Well, this was just horrible and blah. I felt like I was being wasting my time, and I don't know what I was doing, and there was no point to it, and everything else." They go into the other boy and they said, "We couldn't help but notice that you seemed very eager to shovel horse poop. Is there any particular reason?" The boy turned around and said, "Look, with this much horse poop, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere." Find the pony, ladies and gentlemen, find the pony. I understand. We are not in control of the information environment. The left clearly has information dominance. That's how it works when you have a propaganda machine that is supposed to be the free press, but is in fact giving in-kind donations to the Democrat Party and the leftist machine on a daily basis. I understand that. Thank God in 2021 we have this technological capability to bypass the mainstream media entirely, just like I'm doing right here. At some point, I don't know, maybe we'll end up with Kevin Costner's The Postman, where I'll have to make these videos, put them on a thumb drive. Somebody will have to put the thumb drive up their butt and carry it to California on a damn horse so that people in California can hear words of freedom. If that's what it takes, that's what it takes. Get off the damn couch. Politics is a participation sport.